This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. It's so great to have you joining me here in these online lessons. This is lesson 47 in this series that is all about jazz guitar. As you know, I love jazz guitar and I'm so delighted to bring this course to you. We're really working on skill sets in sort of a line upon line fashion. We do have to go back and forth a little bit here and there, like we've got to work on chords like we're working on right now and working on improvising those melodic lines, developing different techniques and so on there. Of course, learning tunes where we comp the chords and improvise melodies, and learn to read or learn melodies by ear. So all of those things are important. We work on all those things, but right now we're working on rootless voicings. So far over the last few lessons, we've done dominant 7th chords with those. We've done major 7th and major 6th chords and minor 7th chords. We put those together in 2-5-1s. Now we've worked the half diminished or minor 7 flat 5 in the last lesson. In this lesson we're looking at the altered dominants, and in the next lesson we'll look at minor major 7ths and minor 6ths, because then we can put these together into 2-5-1s in minor keys. And we got to learn those 2-5-1s because so many of the tunes that we play have 2-5s or 5-1s or 2-5-1s. So when we learn these in those progressions, just those short snippets of that, we're prepared to comp tunes much better. So we're going to learn these altered dominants. Let's go ahead and take a look at these. Now these use the formula that I explained in lesson 33. All the chords we've been doing since then fit the formula, including these rootless ones of the formula that I taught in lesson 33. So if you want to understand that, or if you missed those lessons, you may want to check the previous lessons out, starting with lesson 33 for these rootless voicings. Okay, so up here on the board I have some diagrams. We got to keep track of where the root would be if we were playing it. So we get that root on the 6th string for this form, and then the root on the 5th string for that form. As I've explained in these lessons, there's no such thing as a rootless chord. There's rootless voicings, that we can play those voicings when somebody else is playing the root or when we've established the harmony and then we add that on. So it's important for our context too, it's the easiest thing just to keep track of where the root is, where it would be if we were playing it. So that helps us find these voicings. Now, we can learn, or I should say we know, but if you've checked out the Theory Thursday lessons, some of this has been explained there. But altered dominant chords, and we've worked on altered dominant chords with other voicing types before, but altered dominants have an altered 5th, sharp 5 or a flat 5, and then they got that flatted 7th and that major 3rd. If the 9th is there, then they also have an altered 9th, a sharp 9 or a flat 9. Now we can play flat 9 and sharp 9 chords with a natural 5. We don't use those as often in a minor key and in this context, so I'm not going to work on them specifically, but you can have the natural 5 against the flat 9 or against the sharp 9. But we're going to work the 4 types of altered dominants that are pretty commonly used in this sort of context, and that is where we have a flat 5 against a flat 9, a flat 5 against a sharp 9, a sharp 5 against a sharp 9, or a sharp 5 against a flat 9. So you get the 4 different combinations you can have of an altered 9th and an altered 5th. Now we can also have a flat 13. A flat 13 is actually the same pitch as a sharp 5, so it doesn't matter. They're interchangeable with these voicings. Sharp 11 is also the same as a flat 5. So flat 13, sharp 5, interchangeable. Sharp 11, flat 5, interchangeable. And then we're throwing these flat 9 or sharp 9 against them. So let's just go ahead and get started here. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these voicings then, starting with the flat 5, flat 9 option. We'll look at this form here, the 6th string form first, meaning that if we were actually playing the root, it would be on that 6th string. We'll do these in C, so I'm going to put that at the 8th fret. If I was playing that root, it would be at the 8th fret of the 6th string for the key of C. So in the flat 5, flat 9 option, I'm going to stick my index finger on the flat 5, which is at the 7th fret, my middle finger on the flat 7th, which is at that 8th fret, my ring finger on the 3rd, which is at the 9th fret, and then my pinky on that top string at the 9th fret for that flat 9. This is, interestingly enough, just an F sharp 7 chord if we don't put it over a C root. If we put it over a C root, we have that C7 flat 5 flat 9 chord. So when You want to find where that one is. Once you've got that one, you want to take a look at the 5th string form. We'll do these as if we were in F, so root's still at the 8th fret, but now on the 5th string is where that would be. In this case, I'm going to have my index finger barring 1 fret lower at the 7th fret, and then my middle finger comes into that 8th fret on that 3rd string. This also would just be a B7 chord if I wasn't sticking it over an F root, which gives us that flat 5, flat 9 sound. Now, once you've found those, you want to go back and forth between the two chords, kind of get comfortable with that. And then you want to look at taking that around the circle of force. We've done this in all these different lessons that we've worked on chords in. We've worked around the circle of force. I've got those roots up here in case this is the first lesson that you're jumping in on, but circle of force is a great thing to learn. We're going to work these chords using these root movements on the 6th string and 5th string. So at the 8th fret on that 6th string where I've got that C, then I've got F right above it at the 8th fret. We go down 2 frets, we have B flat, E flat, down 2 more, A flat, D flat. Up to that 9th, we get that G flat, and then B, E, A, D, G, and C, just moving down with that same pattern. So I can take this chord and I can move it right around the circle of force just like that. Now, in doing this, we lose the context without the root movement. So I have a backing track for us that has a bass line only where we can comp these chords over the top. So you can actually hear what these sound like over the top of a bass line for altered dominant chords. So we're going to have this, we're going to play right over the top of it. It's going to give us 6 hits on the hi-hat. We'll have a 2-beat rest, and then we are in working around the circle of force. 4 chords, 4 times, 4 measures per chord. That's what I'm looking for there. 4 measures per chord, so we'll get 4. You can just use simple rhythms. If you've been doing these lessons, you probably have picked up on some great ones to do, but just do, dot, or a do, dot, dot, or a that sort of thing. Just kind of mix things up. Or if you're just struggling to keep track of these chords, then just keep it long, keep it simple. We're actually going to work on rhythm more after we've learned lots of these voicings. So let's go ahead and play these voicings around the circle of force over top of that backing track. So we got C, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, and D, and G, and C, okay, great. At least I hope it's great. Now, these are pretty high tension sounds, so it may take a while for your ear to actually get used to them. That backing track, along with all the backing tracks that I create for this jazz series, are available on the Jazz Jam Along backing track playlist on the channel. You can also look in the description below. There's a link, so if you click on that link, it's going to pull up the video where the backing track will just play, and you can play along with the backing track without me playing over the top, though it's nice here in this lesson context for us to play over that backing track together. Okay, so we got the flat 5, flat 9 option. Of course, then we have a flat flat 9, flat 5, sharp 9 option. So if we take what you were playing before as your flat 5 for C, and you take your pinky 2 frets higher, you get that sharp 9 in there with that flat 5. So you want to get used to where that one is. And then for the 5th string form, where you had your flat 9 we were barring over, you just need to stick your ring finger 2 frets higher than your bar on that 2nd string, and you'll get the sharp 9 option with that flat 5 there. And then you want to go back and forth between the two. You can even practice taking that around the circle of force, and so on. And of course, to really hear that in context, we need to play it over the backing track. So let's go ahead and do that. So we got C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, and C. Okay, great. Let's take a look now at the sharp 5 options. So we got the sharp 5 against the flat 9, sharp 5 against the sharp 9. Let's look at the one with the flat 9 first. So here, where we're at, where we were playing before, our sharp 5 is 2 frets higher than our flat 5. So I'm going to stick my index finger on the flatted 7th now, and I actually can bar across with my ring finger for the 3rd, sharp 5, and flat 9. And this will probably be a familiar shape, because if we headed across an F sharp root, we would have an F9 chord, and we've played that before. But across that C root, it's the altered dominant sharp 5 flat 9 sound. So you can get used to that one. And then take a look at the 5th string form, where we'll do it across with F again. Now I can still bar across and do what I was doing before for the flat 5 flat 9, but I just need to come up with my ring finger and grab that sharp 5 2 frets higher against that bar. So I'm barring at the 7th fret, middle finger is at the 8th fret on the 3rd string, and now I just need to add my ring finger up on that sharp 5 up on the top string. So this is also probably a familiar voicing. So we're going to go back and forth between C and F, just getting comfortable with that. You can even practice it around the circle of force, which we'll do with that backing track. So let's go ahead and do that now. So you got C, and F, B flat, E flat, and A flat, and D flat, Okay, great. Let's look at the sharp 5, sharp 9 option now, which is probably the preferred go-to for minor 2-5-1 situations, though we can use any of these. That one's probably the most favorite, at least at first, that sharp 5, sharp 9. So with the 6-string form, all I got to do is add my pinky 2 frets higher than what I was just doing before with the sharp 5, flat 9 option. So my pinky goes 2 frets higher. This should also be a familiar shape because this would be the same as F sharp 13, which we've done before. But in this context, I'm getting my C sharp 5, sharp 9. C7 sharp 5, sharp 9, I should say. So got that one. Then take a look at the 5th string form where all I got to do is add my ring finger on to the game 2 frets higher than where my index is. So I got my index at that 7th fret, middle at the 8th, and the ring and pinky on the top 2 strings at the 9th. This would be a B13 if we weren't playing it as an F7 sharp 5 sharp 9. So go back and forth between those 2 voicings and then working around the circle of 4 if you need to, but let's go ahead and play it together over the backing track where we can really hear it in context. So we got C, F, and B flat, and E flat, A flat, and D flat, and G flat, and B, and E, and A, and D, and G, C. Okay, awesome, and that really wraps us up for this lesson, though if you wanted to, you could work on the ones where you have a natural 5 against a flat 9 and a natural 5 against a sharp 9. We end up playing those from time to time, so those are good ones to get down. We don't always do altered dominants only in a minor 2-5-1, though that's where we see them the most. There's other times where we will have that flat 9 sound, even in a major key, or that sharp 9 thrown on, and we can have those with the natural 5. So you could work those as well if you wanted to and explore a little bit more on the options. So in the next lesson, we're going to look at minor major 7th chords and minor 6 chords, minor 6-9. We'll get those ones down, and we'll be ready then to do these in 2-5-1 progressions, which is pretty cool because we need those for so many of the tunes that we play. After that, we'll start working on some more comping techniques, especially with just having some rhythms down, understanding the rhythms, and then just some other tricks that we use when we're comping chords. So lots of great things to come. Keep having fun with this. These lessons come out on Mondays and Wednesdays. We got Technique Tuesdays, Theory Thursdays, and on Saturdays, lessons where we're working on improvising in rock and blues and pop styles. Of course, there's hundreds of other lessons that have already been released on the channel. We got the method books, lots of ways to get help with playing the guitar. So keep at it, keep having fun, take care, and we'll see you again. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more in-depth lessons and to progress through a free guitar course, check out my Guitar 101 series on YouTube and my guitar method books, which all come with access to hours of in-depth video lessons. You can find more information about me and my products at kristenbromley.com. Take care.